Hello, fabulous Aries. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of March 2014, Love Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month, where it comes to love, I think the most important development is going to be that Mars will stand still in the sky and begin going retrograde in the opposite part of the sky for you, which indicates really renegotiating, rethinking, and re-strategizing where it comes to love, where it comes to partnership, the role that love is going to play in your life, what your expectations are in love, and how exactly you're going to go about getting the love that you want. So all of this covers a really broad spectrum, and it depends a lot on where you are right now in terms of love. But one thing is for sure, though, where you are a couple of months from now, especially where you are once we get you to the middle of the summer, is going to be a different place. Now, I've been talking about in your annual love horoscope for 2014, I talked about the importance of this transit and how it's going to play out for you. And so this month, I'm just going to reinforce some of those themes, but I do want to add a little extra stuff. And mainly what I want to add is that this month with Mars retrograde, there are some cautions that you're going to need to take. And one of those is, see, Mars is your ruling planet. When your ruling planet goes backwards, it tends to be a time of reflection. It tends to be a time of getting honest with yourself. And it tends to be a time of really getting to the source of what's going on within you so that you can understand why you've manifested what it is that you have. When this is not chosen, if this work is not chosen to be undertaken, then Mars retrograde can denote a time when you choose, because Mars is your ruling planet, you may end up acting in ways that actually surprise you very much. Now, ultimately, the universe wants you to get honest about your motivations. And so you might end up seeing things within yourself that surprise you. And particularly, Mars retrograde can suggest a time of strategizing, if not over-strategizing. And a time when you are trying to do what it is that you need to do so that you can, in all honesty, manipulate a situation to have the outcome be what it is that you want to be. And this is where you've got to be a little bit cautious. Now, it's one thing to be smart in love and dating, okay? It's one thing to say, okay, I want a particular outcome and I know that a slow and steady path is going to get me there. It's one thing to do that. It's another thing to go about sort of playing a game or trying to cover certain things up or saying some things that aren't really what you mean or not really what you want, all with sort of an end game in mind. And that's where I think that you could, if you choose to take that road, you could end up getting yourself in a little bit of trouble further on once we do get you to the later part of the year, particularly the middle part of the year. And so this is when you want to be smart about it. This is where you really want to be listening to life. But most importantly, this is where you're going to want to be really, really ethical. If you feel any sort of twinge, even a little bit like, oh, should I be doing this? Oh, should I be saying this? Should I have said that? Anything like that, then it's going to be up to you to sort of say, okay, I'm feeling a twinge here. What does that mean? And to sit with it and to learn from it so that you can more consciously choose how you are going to behave. Because what you want to do is you want to set up your karma really, really well now so that later on you can reap the type of really honest and full love that you most desire, that really all of us desire. You're going to get an extended chance to work on love now, this year. And the lessons you learn in love this year, and particularly the lessons that start for you right now, this month, are going to be ones that will stay with you for a very long time, if not your entire life. And so utilize this time well. Now, if you are in a relationship, a part of what your consideration is going to be is, what should you say? What should you tell? What shouldn't you tell? What should you hold back? What is working in terms of what your partner knows? What is it you wish your partner would know more of? And how do you bring it up? And so I think about this idea of how everybody, in order to have a sense of themselves and their own independence, tends to have a part of them that they don't necessarily share. And there are certain things that it's completely not only fine, but it's also healthy not to. Things that you know really have nothing to do with this other person. But then there are things where the line gets a little bit blurred, and that's going to be up to you to decide. Now, I do see a small percentage of you, the possibility being there where you may decide to share something as part of this whole idea of, as I said, you want to be mindful of not being manipulative, not being over-strategizing with trying to get a specific reaction, because you may end up saying something just so you can get a specific reaction, instead of saying something because you honestly believe that this is something that you want to share, something that your partner needs to know about you. And so you want to be mindful of that. But if there is anything that you honestly feel that you want to come forward that's going to allow you to feel better or cleaner, then this is the time to do it. But also, you want to also be mindful that you're not sharing something that really doesn't need to be shared. So that's going to be up to you to decide, to sort of trust your intuition, to look at what's going on within you as you decide how you're going to approach this. What is it that is going to honestly bring you closer to this other person? What is it that's only going to create unnecessary drama? And sit with yourself, really sit with your own spirit, sit with your own soul, and decide on the course that's right for you. I would say more than anything, because next month, and I'll be here to talk about it next month, you have a new moon in your opposite sign. Next month is really when a lot of developments are taking place in love. So if it's not anything urgent, if it's not anything pressing, even if it feels urgent, if it genuinely is not, if you can ask yourself and it's not urgent, I would say hold back a little bit. Mercury is retrograde right now, Mercury is retrograde in February, gaining strength as we move through this month. And then you add to that Mars standing still, being especially potent, and preparing to go retrograde, beginning a retrograde cycle. So I would say if it's something that isn't urgent, there's no rush, really. Just be with it and ask yourself your true intentions in sharing. Those of you who are open to love, or maybe, well, let's start with, instead of being open to love, because there's sort of like degrees to that, right? Let's say you're interested in somebody, or there is somebody there. It's not necessarily a partnership. This month could have you really thinking about, is this person someone that you want to take a step forward with? Now, I do think that right now what's likely to happen is you're likely to see some deeper layers of complexity to this person. And that's going to help you really make a more accurate assessment as to whether or not this is a person that you want a part of your life, whether or not this is a person that you want to be dating on a regular basis, and how you feel about this person. What I also see happening is, now some of the stuff I said earlier still does apply, where you're going to have to be mindful of what you're sharing and your motivations for it. However, at the same time, I do think that the likelihood of you not only thinking about your motivation, but also listening to your partner, not necessarily solely in words, but really observing them. I'm reminded of the phrase, when people show you who they are, believe them. This is Maya Angelou, and it's something that I like to really point out a lot where it comes to relationships, because I think it's a huge lesson for really all of us on the planet. When people show you who they are, believe them. And I think now you're going to start seeing these other layers of the person that you've been interested in, and that in turn is going to allow you to gather experience. And I think a full decision, a full understanding of the direction in which you desire to go with this is going to be made a little bit further down the road, especially once we get you to next month, as I said, the new moon. And those of you who are open to love, I do see you attracting experiences, but all of this is to help you understand the deeper layers of your own motivations and what you have been drawn to and what you've attracted into your life, and a deeper level of understanding what it is that love is going to mean to you now and in your life in the future. There is an element here of, going back to this idea of how we can sort of, and I think all of us do this in every area of life at times, it seems more comfortable to play checkers. It seems more comfortable to try to have control over a situation, when really, ultimately, with partnership, you have no control over that other person. And so your job and the work that starts for you now is reconciling yourself to that fact. Regardless of where you are right now, you can expect evolution, you can expect self-honesty, and you can expect changes. You are at a very important point in your journey in love. And this point of the journey is preparing you for a greater love than you've known before. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great month. Be fabulous and enjoy.